For coming. First, a couple of introductions. At the table are Fire Commissioners Lorraine Gettle, Tom Gettle, and to my right, Commissioner Ralph Powell. Upstairs is Commissioner Rich Mears. He's getting the original drawings from the first proposal to bring down. You can look at on your way out. We had a informational meeting 2 weeks ago with the new proposal to how we wanted to build a new station. Through some question and answers throughout the night with everybody, a big concern was the our financial standing and where we were going to get the $250,000 for the new station without a tax increase. So tonight, we're going to give you pretty much what we gave the town for our budget. It'll show you exactly where next year and the years after this $250,000 will come from. So, where are we at? In February of 2014, the Fire District proposed a referendum to the district taxpayers to build a new station costing $5.6 million and $75 tax increase to Fire District taxpayers. This proposal was defeated by a 3-1 margin by the Fire District taxpayers. August of 2014, the bond anticipation note on the property we purchased to the north came due. The Fire District paid it. We had a couple of offers to buy the property from us. We put out a referendum to the district taxpayers to sell the property, to possibly sell the property. We were still going over different ways of building a new station, but that was also a possibility. This proposal was also defeated by a 2-1 margin by the Fire District taxpayers. So we couldn't sell it and we couldn't build on it. New proposal, we presented this about 2 weeks ago. The Fire District would like to sell the newly purchased property to the north to the Cicero Fire Department. The Fire Department would build a new fire station. The district would lease the station from the Fire Department. This would be a 10 to 15% savings right off the top with the Fire Department building the new station. The Fire District would then work with the builder, the architect, and the Fire District lawyer to bring the final build cost down to $4 million. By talking to the banks, this is what we can afford to hold the payment to where we feel we can pay without raising taxes. This would cost the district $250,000 annually to lease with no increase to taxes for this build. Concerns. Where's the $250,000 going to come from? Where's the Fire District going to get this $250,000 to pay this lease every single year for the next 30 years? How can you afford this each year with no tax increase for the build? Those were the questions and concerns raised at the last informational meeting. So I'm going to present you to the 2015 financial breakdown of the Fire District. A lot of this was our budget presentation to the town. We'll touch a little bit on the budgets, what we propose to the town, what we're doing for a district, what the town has come back to us with, and then a line-by-line item breakdown of our budget. And then by the end of it, it'll show you exactly where the $250,000 will be coming from. So the preliminary proposed budget for 2015. The Cicero Fire District proposed a total budget of $849,046, a 9% increase of $76,452. Proposed Fire District budget, $363,122. Also a 9% increase of $29,517. That's to the Fire District taxpayers only. That increase is to Fire District only. Proposed fire protection budget, $485,924. Also a 9% increase of $46,935. That's what the Fire District proposed to the town for the fire protection contract with the town of Cicero to protect outside of the Fire District to the area that the Cicero Fire Department protects. So a 9% increase across the board, $29,517 from the district, $46,935 from protection, total increase $76,452. Oops, sorry about that. Expected budget. Total budget, $802,111. Only a 3% total increase. Still the same 9% increase to the Fire District, but fire protection at the October 30th work session attended by us with the town supervisor has now proposed a 0% increase to all fire departments in the town. So the town, as we proposed to them a 9% increase, same to the taxpayers of the district, has come back and told us that they are not going to give us any more money. you're going to have to stay to what you got last year. There's no increase. So if whoever was here at the last one, we went back and forth. There's some town councilors here. We were going back and forth with some numbers, some disagreement. Councilor Beneski sat down with me for 2 sessions. First session, we were going over line by line, right through our budget. He wanted to see it line by line. We got about halfway through. He had to leave to go to the town board meeting. We were all attending also, so we split. He agreed to come back the following Monday to finish. Unfortunately, we didn't finish it that Monday because he was no longer interested in going line by line. Instead, his proposal was 0% increase and give me $50,000 more back out of your budget. That was the last town proposal to us in this building. 0% increase and $50,000 less than that 438, and they don't care what we do with the district. If we have to make that up and raise it to district taxpayers, that's our issue. But they don't want to go over to 438, and they're asking us to give $50,000 even less than wants to take away from that number. The preliminary budget, prior to that meeting, originally the town was going to give us a 6% tax increase of $26,480. So they've now even taken that off the board. I'm sorry these went in backwards. I was doing this later than I wanted to. So the district proposed to the town board a 9% increase of $46,000. The first budget back from the town was a 6% increase of $26,840. So the $20,000 less that we would have to find somewhere. But now since then they've even backed that off, and now they're going to go to 0%. At least with us, they may even take more away from us. So it's a lot of concern prior to this. With the first building proposal we had was going, the town would work with us and work with us. Well, the town's not working with us. If they're going to work with us, they wouldn't be asking us to take $20,000 less than last year's budget. When they first, prior to this, they offered $26,000, and they've now taken that even away. So the town is not working with us. This is going to all come back to districts. This is all going to come back to you, the district taxpayers. This is the only way we're getting money to supply this building, these firefighters, for their equipment, everything is on district taxpayers because the town will not help us. During the town public works shop, as I mentioned on October 30th, supervisor proposed 0% increase to all fire protection contracts. I don't know when the next town budget hearing is. I have not heard. I don't know the final numbers. But his last I know, I'm sitting here with Mr. Vadesky, it was a 0% increase and asked to give money back. Fire protection contracts that we've contracted to the town. In 2010, it was $413,780. In 2011, 12, and 13, or 2011 and 12, same amount, 0% increase. We were told even before budget negotiations started, don't ask for anything, you're not getting anything from us. In 2013 and 2014, the supervisor gave us 2% and a 4% increase. So you see it jumped up roughly $25,000 over the last 5 years. The town has increased their taxes to us of $25,000. That's less than 1% increase a year from the town for protection. Those same years, fire district contracts, 2010 through 2014, we kept it steady. There was a reason that was done. Yes, we can increase the taxes 2% every year. We can increase them if we have to go over that. We can pass the law over the 2% increase. We tried keeping your district tax rate the same, hoping the town would increase the protection to bring the two rates closer together, because we've known forever those two rates need to come closer, need to come together. They have to start paying for the protection throughout the town. We've asked for the last 5 years, please bring the protection contract rates up. Get them closer to the district rates. We can't drop district rates until the town agrees to start bringing protection rates up. So as I said earlier, this year, it'll be a 9% increase. That 9% only gets us $29,000. That'll go on to district taxes. For those of you that don't know, currently you pay $1.28 or $128 on a $100,000 value house. I believe it'll go up $11 to $139. The same people live in the protection, and in some of you in some of these streets, it's your neighbor. They pay $88 on the same $100,000 value house. That's the big difference between the two rates. You go up the road, Burton's Fire District tax rates, $192. The town will not help get these two rates closer. We're willing to drop our rates as long as they bring their rates up, so we're still getting the same money that we need to run this department. But there's no movement from the town. The 2015 fire district budget. Personal services, $30,000. Chief's budget, $91,500. Contract expenses, $42,275. Utilities, $47,000. Building, building repairs for both stations, $12,000. Fire department services, $15,200. Apparatus service, $60,000. Insurance, $59,000. LoSAP, $80,000. Workman's comp, $105,000. Fire prevention program, $2,000. Physical fitness, $1,500. Yearly medical exams for each firefighter in here, it's $100 a piece. We budget $8,000. We currently have 72 members, so currently we're paying $7,200. That's anticipation of taking in more members. Last Thursday, we took in 3 new members, so that'll even go higher. The new engines, the Pierce engine payments out there, we were paying pretty aggressive at $130,000 a year on the bond anticipation notes for them. This year we lowered it to $30,000 to add into to help build the reserves back up. And this item here, John, I don't know if you have a point across the
center circle there.
So these two amounts here are the big increases in the budget this year, and this is what the town looked at and said, give me more money of this back so I can help offset other budgets in the town. You'll see further in here, we're currently at 0. This is to build these back up, and they still want me to take more out of this. So building reserves, $138,636, apparatus reserves of $50,000. Personal services, as you, whoops, sorry. Sorry about that.
Skip ahead.
Yeah, skip that one.
Just go to your sheet.
Yeah. Personal services, sorry about that. As it was mentioned, it was $30,000. Salaries of our secretary and treasurer is $8,000. We have a maintenance worker that works part-time for us is $10,000 a year. Accounting services are $10,000 a year, and then social security payments of $2,000 for the total of $30,000 for personal services. This is actually a decrease of $5,000 from last year.
I don't know what you did, so.
Hopefully it won't do that long. It is. Bear with me, I'm sorry. I'm not a great IT person.
Training animation.
Our chief's budget, it was mentioned earlier, is $91,500. Turnout gear is $25,000. Equipment, access hoses and tools of $20,000. Radios and pagers are $15,000. EMS, medical and first aid supplies of $7,500. And training of $24,000. In the training, we currently contract with a service out of the city firefighters for $8,000 a year. They come out and give us training. That's also pays for props or whatever's needed to do in-house training. We train every Thursday of every month. And it's also this year, new to us this year, we have put on a medical doctor. John, you want to touch real quick on the medical doctor?
Yeah, we, fire departments and EMS agencies, as a fire department, we have to retain a medical director for any of the EMS programs that we do here, whether it be EpiPens. We have a program, PAD, which is the public access defibrillators for the defibrillators in the building to use, as well as new policies out are Narcan, the blood glucose. So we've retained a medical doctor that is in the field with us, that if he's here on every Tuesday or every other Tuesday, depending on his schedule, and basically responds with us to these calls. He signs off on our protocols, he signs off on our policies related to medical stuff, which is great because it takes the liability off of us and it helps you as the patient. So we've signed on with Upstate Medical, Dr. Jocelyn, and the doctors up there. So.
And that's $2,000 a year?
$2,000, yes, for him, for his services. Sorry. I apologize on this. I'm not PowerPoint guru unless somebody else is.
So bear with me on the side screen so you can see it as I talk. Contract expenses. Our internet costs of $3,500, office supplies of $2,000, postage that pays for our PO box up here at the post office, $75 a year. We've also put in our budget for a grant writer of $2,500. For those of you that don't know, we received a $250,000 grant for SCBA's by help of her. We've also received a grant from Al Sturpey that we haven't seen yet for $15,000.
$16,000.
$16,000 for turnout gear. Hopefully now that the new elections are over, we'll see that. And we are also in the middle of negotiations and filling out a grant for $30,000 to replace the MDTs in our apparatus. Legal and audit, $12,500. That's a retainer fee for our attorney, and then association dues for the 5 commissioners for New York State of $700. Total of $42,275. That's an increase of $16,500 over last year. And this big increase is coming from computers and software. And the reason for that increase this year is because our server that we currently have in both stations has completely died. Chris Hines, our IT, which does everything for us for free, it saves us probably another $25,000 a year if you were to go out and hire this. It's pretty much been piecing our computer system together here over the last year. It's completely died, it's unrepairable. He's piecing us together to get us through December, but we have to do a full, complete replacement of our computer software in servers this year. Utilities. Fuel, gas, and electric for both stations, $30,000. Trash removal for both stations, $3,500. Telephones into the station, because it's a hard wire, we have to have hard incoming lines of $3,500. Snow removal, $7,500. And cell phones for commissioners in the chief's office of $2,500. Total utilities of $47,000, increase of $2,000 over last year. Increase in that was snow removal was $6,500 last year. He pretty much told us at the end of last year, there's no way I could do that for $6,500 again. So we've increased it to cost a possible increase in that. That is currently out for bid. Building expenses, $12,000 for building and maintenance on both stations. Maintenance supplies for the bathrooms and cleaning of $3,000, and property taxes of $1,000. Increase of $1,900. That's all right, you just leave it like that. I'm not a professional in finding people. The reason that the $1,900 increase this year from last year went into building and maintenance because we kept it down last year, hoping to replace this station, and we weren't going to put any money in here. There was just no reason to put money in the station if we wanted to replace it, so we lowered that. We've increased it this year because we've had some minor things here that we've had to fix, and we're still, hoping that we can replace this station. That would go up in the future if this station stays. Fire department services, $15,200. That's what commissioners give the department every year for their services. That stays the same. Apparatus service. This is the PM of all the apparatus at both stations. Yearly, each one of them go down to Jerome to get totally, fully PM inspected. That's $40,000 to cover all that. And our fuel for all the apparatus over the year, $20,000 for a total of $60,000. The increase you see there, $13,000, that's for fuel only. Last year we budgeted $7,000 on fuel. We do get we're in a rebate program with the company, but we still ran short last year. So it's an increase this year of $13,000 just to keep our apparatus on the roads for calls and training. Insurances, liability and damage, $52,000, increase of $4,000 from last year. That's just from the insurance companies. Life insurance of $7,000, total insurance of $59,000. That's paying for all the members and giving them their life insurance policies. Other expenses, fire prevention, $2,000. The department pays $500 towards it, the district puts in $2,000. This gets our members out on the streets to all the elementary schools and local churches and daycares teaching fire prevention throughout the year. Physical fitness, we currently provide each member with it. If they pay for a gym membership up front, we'll reimburse them up to $200 depending on how often they go. We have a little thing showing up pretty much as if, I think if you go 25 times a year, you get full reimbursement up to $200. State retirement and LoSAP, medical exams, we talked about a little earlier, $8,000 is an increase of $500. They're $100 a piece for every member. All of us have to have 1 year. We have a company come in, we do them here. If you can't get them done here, we'll send out to other departments in the county, which is covering them. It's $100 a piece. Every new member that comes in has to have a physical. It's $100 for them to get their physicals. State retirement and LoSAP, $80,000, increase of $5,000. Excuse me. For those of you that have not seen over the last few years, actually the last couple, us in North Syracuse were involved in a LoSAP lawsuit. And this was nothing done wrong. None of us withheld money from any of our members. The state changed the program and never told anybody what they did. So when they originally were receiving the money when they hit their required age, well, New York State lowered that and also allowed them to earn points, which is great. It's a great thing. But never told any of the departments that this was being done. So there's a certain time frame where certain members were not allowed, didn't get their payments, and we had to go back and pay them that money. Well, as we were going through this, we used to go through Hometown, and we had ESIP, who's our current insurance provider, they audited it. They said, if you had to pay everybody out right now, if your account's closed, you don't have enough money to pay everybody. We were earning nothing through Hometown. We have now turned that over to ESIP to another company. They have guaranteed us, I think it's a 1.2, a minimum 1.2 increase on our money each year. They have said we should be paying $90,000 a year to this. At this time, we were only paying $61,000. To keep this current and active, they suggested we be paying $90,000 a year. So 2 years ago, I believe it was, we upped it $27,000, and then we have a plan to increase it $5,000 a year to get to that $90,000. So there's 2 more $5,000 increases in the next 2 years to get that up to the $90,000. Workman's comp and VFDL is $105,000. Again, the Pierce engine payments of $30,000, and then these are the new ones. SCBA account. We got the SCBA grant for $250,000. To get that grant, we have to match 20% of it. So we have to match 30% of that grant. So when that comes through, we send that out to bid for the state to pay, or the feds to pay that grant. We also have to pay $30,000 towards it. Apparatus reserve, $50,000, that's to replenish it. What that reserve account does is anything outside of our normal PMs happens, and a piece of apparatus breaks down that's not under warranty, we would pay for it out of these reserve accounts. Building reserves, $138,636. That's replenished reserve with no increase from the fire protection contract. This was originally higher until we got word that the town's not going to give us any more money. So the money that they won't give us, we're planning to take out of building reserves. So that's down to the $138,636. As I had mentioned, some increases. And I'm sorry that top line's wrong. We asked for a 9% tax increase from protection contract as well as 9% from the fire district to help with our rising costs and mandates as well as some major expenses for equipment we need to replace this year. Our computer system as well as the building, our reserves for emergency expenses with the building that continue to get older and need fixes. Expenses to maintain our fleet of apparatus. Our cost for PPE continues to increase. As you saw up there prior, we budget $25,000 a year to the chief for PPE, which is the gear that the members wear. That really only pays for 10 sets of gear. We do well with we have some spare gear, but the problem is you may bring in a person 6 foot, you may bring in somebody that's 4 foot, and you don't keep all that. We pretty much keep the medium sets in-house. Anything outside of that, you have to buy new for these people. And each set of gear is pretty much $2,500. That's just paying for bunkers and jackets and gloves and hoods. That's not paying for the helmets and the boots, which also has a 10-year mandate. Our computer system, as I mentioned, was over 6 years old, needs to be replaced. The reason we need to replace this is everything we do now is off computers. All our state reports, all our fire reports, everything is done on computers and sent directly to the county and the state. It's no more come in, fill out a piece of paper, hold them, they come and collect them. Everything gets done electronically over the computer system. And then our MDT and our apparatus is outdated, needs to be replaced. We are currently working on a grant to replace those. And then we need to purchase new pagers, which if some of you don't know, we all have like a little black box you may see us wearing. When we get an alarm, those will go off. We have Minuter 5s. They no longer make Minuter 5s. They won't even fix Minuter 5s. The new one, the Minuter 6s come out, and I believe, Chief, they're $399 a piece.
Yep.
So we now have to buy Minuter 6s. If you look, we have 72 members. You know, we're not all 72 members are going to get Minuter 5 or 6s right away, but gradually we'll take them to that level. So Do the math, 72 times 400 is awful expensive for pagers. And then hose supply lines need to be replaced. We just currently had our hose test. It gets tested every single year, and we lost 1,400 feet.
1,400 feet, but the good thing was, the hose was from 1986, so I think we got our use out of it.
So those are some expenses you don't always expect. Grants, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, in case you haven't noticed, didn't know, we continue to help offset your expenses by looking for grants. We don't ever stop looking for grants. We feel we have a nice little connection with a grant writer. We secured a $250,000 grant to replace our SCBA's. Without that grant, that's an increase to the taxpayers. And as I mentioned prior to earlier, the town's not helping us. That $250,000 would have went on the fire district taxpayers. That has to get replaced. We don't have a choice. Without those, we don't go into a house. That's our life. Those are our lifelines wearing those packs. And they're all we're doing 3 years. Yeah, we are budgeting up to that, but a full, complete replacement is $250,000, and we won that grant recently. So it's a big help, and it kept your expenses down as well. As I mentioned, we secured $15,000 from Assemblyman Sturkey. Hopefully we'll see that soon. We budget $25,000 each year for gear. That buys approximately 10 sets a year. We have 70 members and take an average of 15 to 20 new members in each year. We take members in 4 times a year. Every quarter we take members in. Sometimes we get 3 or 4, and there's other times we get 7 or 8. So we have a good amount of turnovers of new members. Currently, you'll see, I think we're 72 active current members. And then, as I mentioned, without these grants, this would have been a larger tax increase because those SCBA's were due in the next 2 years. To date, 2014, I believe it was last Thursday, we hit 1,000 calls for the year. This is the 3rd consecutive year we've hit 1,000 calls a year. Usually it's not till December. We're in early November, we've already hit 1,000, so we are on pace to set an all-time record for responding to calls each year. So you're looking probably, usually December is one of our busiest months of the year, so we're looking at hitting 1,200 calls this year. And today, and I think this will increase, we have 72 active members. So where will the yearly payment come from? 2015, we expected the expected budget of $802,111. $250,336 of that budget is expenses dedicated for use in 2015 only. Okay? The expenses that $233 go toward: $1,500 for physical fitness, $15,000 for a new computer system, $15,200 for fire department services, $30,000 to offset the SCBA grant, $50,000 placed in apparatus reserve, and $138,000 in building reserves. That $250,336 is dedicated only this year to those accounts. Okay? So the new station has a physical fitness room in it. That would be $1,500 we can take out. The $15,000 for a new computer system is this year only. It's not like we're going to buy a new computer system every year. The remaining of that budget will stay in there to pay for our software packages and in titles and licenses and stuff. $15,200 for fire department services. Obviously, if the new building's built, they would get $250,000 from us. $30,000 they offset the SCBA grant. Once that grant's paid off, we're not going to budget $30,000 to pay another grant off that we don't need. $50,000 placed in building reserves, apparatus reserves, and $138,636 in building reserves. This will take our building reserves from 0 to those 2 amounts. Okay, that's what we're putting in reserves this year. With no tax increase in 2016 and beyond, we will have available $250,336 to be budgeted in our budget. Our reserve accounts will have money replenished in them in 2015, as I mentioned, the $50,000 in apparatus and the $138,000 in building. This $250,000 could now be dedicated to the new building. Those previous screens were the 5 or 6 items on there. They are this year's budget items only. Is that $250,000 that we can now use to build the new station? That is available in our budget next year without any tax increase and not putting money in any of those 5 accounts. That's where the $250,000 for the new building will come. And that is available every year from here on out as long as we don't increase taxes or decrease taxes. That's the bottom line. With no tax increase, that amount right there is available to be budgeted somewhere else. That does not go towards our monthly expenses. Okay. November 18th, the vote on Tuesday, November 18th, is where the fire district is looking for approval, the fire district taxpayers, to sell, sorry about that, sell the newly purchased property, to, and I thought I corrected that, to the Cicero Fire Department. If approved, the fire department would then build a new fire station on the property, and the fire district would then lease this from the fire department at a cost of $250,000 a year. The cost of the new station would not exceed $4 million or $250,000 annual lease payment. That's what we've been approved for. We can't get approved for anything higher. For all those people that think, yes, they're gonna approve this, then they're gonna go build the Taj Mahal, we can't. We can't afford anything over $250,000. I just showed you, we don't have money anywhere else in our budget to go over the $250,000 annual payment. That's as high as we can go with no tax increase. That's sitting there available to pay on a new property without a tax increase. It's there. We've budgeted there, and it's sitting there. As long as we can keep it under $4 million, so that means sitting down with the builder, the architect, and our lawyer, and getting all the costs, what it may be to cut things out here and there, to get the cost of the building down to $4 million. We already know with the department building this, we can save 10 to 15% right off the top. Because they don't have to, Sean, if you can correct me, they don't have to go to Wick's law.
There's no Wick's law
Right.
for a private entity.
So this $4 million station, 250,000 cars, would be no tax increase to build the station or pay for the station to be built. Any questions?